Hey, what's up? Forrest here with Assume Your Power. I'm out here in the Ozark Mountains actually working, but had a little break today, about a 4-hour break with the film crew, so I decided to climb up the mountain and use these rocks to work out with because there is no gym in Calico Rock. But I had my first unofficial coaching call today in that time of space about an hour ago, and it was pretty awesome. So I want to share a little bit of the advice that I shared with the client. It was unpaid. Guy just messaged me, one of the subscribers here on the channel, and asked if I could jump on a call. He was just feeling kind of down, needed some advice about his business and kind of the route he was going. And so yeah, I think it was super productive. I think it helped him out. It was really meaningful for me, so we're going to talk about all those things. Let's go. Alright, first of all, I want to say that I do not intend on bringing you tons of shirtless content. This just happens to be my attire because I put on the backpack and went hiking, went to work out, had the camera because I thought I'd get some beautiful shots of the landscape here, and then of course I had the coaching call, so I decided to take that, and it was awesome. So one of the subscribers actually emailed me and said he wanted to get on a call because he was really feeling down about himself, his business, couldn't attract his clients, XYZ, and I saw it as an opportunity to help somebody. And if you watch this channel enough, you know that that's what I'm all about. Haven't always been that way, but trying every single day to be more about helping people rather than myself. I'll quote Zig Ziglar real quick. He said, if you help enough people get what they want, usually, almost always, you'll get what you want. So we're going to talk a little bit about what he was struggling with and kind of how I think I helped him see some things that he could be doing differently. And yeah, let's get into it. So I'm not going to say the guy's name, but we got on the phone call. And I basically first asked him, lay everything out for me. How are things going, with your business, with your life? He recently had a breakup, which is something I learned. So he kind of gave me the background on all that. He actually does the same thing as I do, video production. And so he's had some trouble attracting clients in a new niche that he's had set out for himself as kind of a goal. And the niche is actually more like blue-collar clients, like plumbers, roofers, contractors, concrete people, landscape guys, that kind of thing. So, he was putting together some templates through ChatGPT, and, most of it he's writing himself, kind of fine-tuning it with some AI, putting it into some Facebook groups and sending it cold emailing, cold messaging, and stuff like that, basically getting zero response. And one thing that stood out to me immediately is the fact that over the years I've sent probably 10,000 cold emails and cold messages, and maybe I got one message back and it didn't close. So that was something that stood out right off the bat. And so I encouraged him to, especially in today's age, people just aren't personable. They just want to message and email, and I think it's a curse of our generation, not really knowing how to talk to people. So if you'll step out of your comfort zone, yes, you step out of your comfort zone and start calling people, start showing up, shaking hands and talking, you're going to set yourself apart from everybody else here in 2023 because they mostly just want to email and Zoom and all that. And that all has its place. But for closing deals and sales and in life, I think you really got to get in front of people. And a first impression is so important that your second and third impression can actually be bad. But most of the time they'll remember you from your first impression. So if your first impression is that you sent an email, not that there's anything wrong with that, but you're just not setting the tone that you're dedicated, that you're bold and brave and all that kind of stuff. So the first thing I did was encourage him to make phone calls. Second thing is, in life and in sales, it's all about numbers. If you make 100 phone calls, you'll have 10 people that will stay on the phone for over 5 minutes. You'll have 2 people that will show interest, and you'll have 1 that will close. And so it's just a numbers game. There was a guy in Texas that did over $5 million in solar sales that I heard on a podcast, and everybody wanted to know his secret. They were like, are you doing Zoom calls? Are you sending email blasts? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? He was like, no, I'm doing door-to-door. And everybody was so surprised because door-to-door is just not, it's not like a super great method in that industry. And they were like, well, what's your secret there? He was like, well, I start knocking on doors around 8 and I stopped knocking on doors around 8. And so it was really just a numbers thing for him. If he had a good day for him was to get 1 appointment booked, to try to close the sale. And he was the highest grossing solar guy in the country, or definitely in Texas, but I think also in the country at one point. And so it just goes to show you it's all about numbers. You've got to be consistent and personal, really, really personal. You know, I encouraged this guy who was having trouble with his video business attracting those types of clients. He told me what he was saying when he did call, and it kind of sounded like he was a salesman for like a national company. And while that's all fine and good, for blue collar people or for like your small town business, it's going to be better if they feel like you're from that area. You know, if you're part of that ecosystem or that, you know, that town. So I encouraged him to lead off with, hey, I'm also a small business owner here in, let's just say, Fayetteville, Maryland. You know, that's not where it was, but I'm not going to reveal his information here. But just start off with something like really small, like humble yourself and let that client know that you're in the same position they're in. I'm just trying to provide service. That's pretty much it. And if you'll focus your efforts on helping people and not on money, the money will come. Trust me, it will come faster than you will believe, because you'll have something tangible that people really, really want, and you're going to become a master at it. And so you'll be able to trade those two things, money for your service. Which brings me to my next point. As he was telling me about this new niche, whatever you want to call it, that he was going into in the video space, which was like helping blue collar, you know, people, business owners. He told me about this other shoot that he had done with a model, and it was like it was like a fashion shoot, you know, with a girl in some nice clothes or whatever, like in an alleyway, you know, a fashion shoot basically. And the excitement in his voice really told me a lot about where he was at in that point in time. And I think that was where most of his blockage was with getting those blue collar clients, is he knew that that's a niche that could create a lot of revenue, but he didn't have the same passion in his voice about it. And so I just suggested, I said, man, the way you're talking about this fashion shoot, it sounds like you had a really good time. You really enjoyed it. It felt effortless. You were in your flow state, right? Which we'll talk a lot about flow state in future videos. But he said, yeah, I really was. Like, it didn't feel like work. It turned out so amazing. It might be the best work I've ever done. And so I encouraged him. I said, well, why aren't you just doing that? Like, what's the point of going after these? You're already at ground zero with both types of clients. Why not just go after the one that you're passionate about? And so, I mean, I could even tell on the phone when I said that, like his interest sparked up, and it was almost like he had validation from somebody else that, like, you could actually do this and get paid for that thing you really like. And so, long story short, he was really excited about it, and he said, I'm gonna go ahead and put together kind of like a promo package of the photos I did for her and start shopping that around to do fashion shoots. So I just want to bring up that because the point of it all is, and I'm going to quote Josh Homme here. I kind of adapted his quote, but I kind of got this from him in a recent interview he did with an Apple podcast, is instead of chasing the dollar, you know, chase the inspiration. And that's what I really think flow state is. Like, find something that you can do that doesn't feel like work, that you could just do endlessly. Like, if money didn't exist, we all still lived in the Garden of Eden, what would you do? And if you can base that also around providing a service to people, like, it needs to be something tangible that can be packaged in a service, whether that's in your own business or pursuing a career where somebody can hire you to do that. You're going to be way better off, and you'd be surprised. Like, every industry, every job, every career has a high-paying version of that career. So there are teachers that make a lot of money. There are people who work in the toilet paper industry who just package it, and then there's people who manage it, and then there's people who own a toilet paper company. So it's like there's levels to it, and if you'll just hone in on the thing that brings you the most joy and inspiration, number one, you're going to provide better service to people. You're going to be providing better service to yourself, and you're never going to get bored. Like, it's always going to be a joy to do, and you're going to find fulfillment in it every day. You know, money can't buy happiness, but it does a lot. It does buy a lot of things that make you happy. But if the vessel that gets you to the money doesn't make you happy, the end doesn't matter. You know, the real, in my opinion, definition of success is not when you reach the goal. It is the pursuit of a worthy ideal. So to give you an example, you know, a doctor who's got a bank account with $500,000 in it, a tenure and, you know, a secured practice at a hospital who's miserable because he doesn't like what he does is less successful than a nursing student who is in their first year pursuing their first degree as an LPN. Because success is the fact that you are pursuing a worthy ideal. Like, so when you become the doctor, that's not the end. You've ticked off that box. Sit for a minute, celebrate, and then what's the next thing? Like, how am I going to increase my worth, my value? You know, how am I going to grow spiritually after that? And I think too many people see this goal and they think that that's success. It's really not. It's the pursuit of a worthy ideal. So, you know, I might really want to win an Emmy with one of my films or videos, and if one day I get to do that, that's great. I'll stop. I will celebrate in that moment, but then it's time to pick up and decide what's the next thing. You know, what can I do now for humanity? What's going to serve my higher purpose tomorrow? And so, yeah, that was my first coaching call with somebody, and I say it was unofficial because I didn't charge for it. He just kind of reached out, and I called him immediately, and we had a really good talk. And the tone in his voice from the beginning to the end really revealed to me how much I care about people and helping people. And I'm not saying that to sound like a saint, because trust me, I'm worse than anybody watching this video right now. I've done worse things than you have, trust me. But there's something so joyous about taking my mistakes and handing them to somebody else and giving them kind of a cheat code to bypass that mistake if they so choose. So had a really good coaching call with him. Just wanted to share that experience. I hope this video has helped you. If you don't mind, like and subscribe. I would love to get this stuff out to more people, just because, you know, I think that this is an abundant life that we can all enjoy in our own way. Remember to be yourself, because everyone else is taken, and assume your power. I will see you in the next video. Peace.